Hey guys, how you doing? I wanted to bring you guys up to speed on some things that I think might be useful in a couple different industries. I'll give you a little bit of brief on what we do, and maybe you can kind of relate how it would apply to you guys. So we have automated the process of collecting foreclosure documents, legal documents in the foreclosure world, such as HOA foreclosures and lender foreclosures. Collecting all 5 years, putting them into a database that is able to be queried and filtered in such a granular level that we sell our data to class action attorneys that may want to find anybody that is not compliant in the way that their documents are written, or and not in that exact way, because that wouldn't necessarily fly in some circumstances. Another great example would be what we use it for. So we take a lender foreclosure and we know that these 600 homes are with 70% equity based on the final judgment compared to, say, a zestimate or a tax value. And then we can organize all of those lender foreclosures by auction date and the amount of equity that's in the property. We also automate the second process, which is running that data through a skip tracing program like TLO, or running that program through or that data through LexisNexis property owner data extraction suite. And therefore you're getting the full name of the person that owns it, the defendants, you're getting their phone numbers, and those are potential investment properties that you can buy for a good amount of money that are able to be sold at a lesser amount of money because of the lien amount having 50% equity, or so on and so forth. Something more interesting would be lender foreclosures or HOA foreclosures that have legal language that's so fatally flawed that you're able to almost predict, I'm trying to word this properly, almost predict that the mortgage would be unenforceable had you owned that house. And upon you assuming that house or getting in touch with that homeowner, and without being too touchy around this subject, I'll just say it, I guess, the way it comes out. You contact the property owner and do a legal, compliant cash for keys contract with the underlying reason for doing it is because you're so confident that the mortgage cannot be fixed, such as, let's say, the legal description doesn't match. Let's say it was recorded in only the husband's name, and at the time they were married. Any of those things, the bank has 5 years to correct the first recording. If they don't, the statute of limitations prevents them from perfecting the lien. If they can't perfect the lien, let's say the legal description says lot 1 or unit 3, and it's really unit 1 or a lot 52, and it's clear and conspicuous that that property is, or that loan and note is leaning a clearly a different property, or a property that doesn't exist, they can't fix that loan and go back and re-record the mortgage due to the 5-year expiration. So with that being said, those homes, if you had assumed those homes and you found those homes by granularly being able to filter through thousands of lender foreclosure documents in, let's just say, Broward County, you'd be able to find 300 to 400 lender foreclosures that in just the, I'll give you an example, the married but only in one borrower's name filter, you would have over 400 properties that you have a lien that can't be perfected. It served only one person during the foreclosure. They never served the other person. They can't add the wife. And now you have a perfect situation where the mortgage is what they call voidable. A voidable mortgage is something where the court determines that, yes, they're not giving away houses these days just because you found a technicality, but because of the fact that the statute of limitations protects the I guess the courts, I'm not a lawyer, but perfects the fact that the statute of limitations prevents the bank from perfecting their legal description that does not match the property appraiser website. That lien is on another property, and if that lien can't be put back on the property that you have this note and lien potentially against your property that would be foreclosing and getting final judgment and taking your property, then if they can't foreclose on it because the lien isn't perfected and it's against another or unknown property and they can't fix it, then they can't foreclose on it. If they can't foreclose, you don't have a mortgage, and the judge will throw it out. And there's a couple cases that I'll upload and show you where there's actual verbal arguments that you'll see the appellate courts and the federal court for Florida talking for 45 minutes with 3 or 4 judges on a panel saying to an attorney that they understand that the borrower borrowed the money in good faith, that he was going to repay it, and that would be the collateral. So what's the problem? We're not giving away a house. And they ultimately rule in favor of the defendant that's in foreclosure and vacate his mortgage. So this data is so valuable that 3 days ago I bought my second house, and me not being from the real estate arena or having the ability to even go into the real estate arena with enough capital to make myself dangerous and buy 3-4 houses and mortgage myself against those and qualify for, debt to income or global cash flow to have these banks lend it to me, to go in there and offer a homeowner a surplus of whatever you get if you win, and that you're an expert in whatever field. Me, it's the granular collection of PDFs that are unscannable, ugly images that look like they were scanned by a dot matrix printer back in 1999, and being able to just search and find 70 mortgages that have a countrywide recording back in the day when they did robo signing, and you're able to type in the word Linda Green, and every single mortgage that had Linda Green was re-recorded. And a guy from high school that was working at one of these mortgage electronic recording services would just sign the word Linda Green and act like your new contract is now public information and that you agreed to it, and they signed the bank VP's name on it. That's Linda Green, which there was never ever a Linda Green. That a lot of the countrywide scandal. But I can find 70 to 100 Linda Green active foreclosure documents that are not, that's not the other couple thousand that are in Broward County, to say the least, that aren't in foreclosure, that have a mortgage that is unenforceable due to the fact that it was re-recorded and not compliantly, illegally. And the mortgage is considered a fraudulent mortgage. I can find those with this program in a matter of minutes. Anything in it. FDCPA violations, where the Fair Debt Collection Practice Act violates the time that you have to repay the loan and the verbiage they use. You can find these violations through thousands of mortgages within seconds, and it's also scalable to other counties. So if there's a county that you like and you want to buy homes in that area with this criteria, within a week or two we can have a script made, operating cleanly, downloading it compliantly with the county clerk's permission. You can't just scrape websites these days, guys, without contacting and getting approval from the website or getting an API. I know all of us do it, but in this arena you cannot. With that being said, we're working throughout South Florida and going north, but we want to eventually have every county in the United States that has an electronic recording system for all the blender foreclosures and HOA foreclosures and reformations that are going on with legal description issues. We want all of that data for every single county to be a part of our data and give you guys access to that where you can now become a member and have the most dangerous data out there, but we want to prove ourselves first. So right now we're doing 50 homes. We want to see if the data is not only accurate, but the violation is actionable, and we actually vacate the mortgage on, and if not all, how many, and put a value on it to where it's not something that you can't afford, but it's also something that is so valuable that maybe you will only have a select few people in every county that have this exclusive data. But either way, guys, if you're seeing this, you're a friend of mine on Facebook, a personal friend of mine, or a colleague from my previous workings in freight. But either way, this all came about due to me learning how to do automation, and I think it's phenomenal that we can take now PDF, unsearchable, unqueryable, unable to ask a program if this PDF does not have their partner married on it, show me. It's to write that in a Google search or a Google search operator, it's practically impossible for most people. And PDFs that are that are not converted into text, OCR, you can't search them like that. And to OCR a 100-page lender foreclosure with Adobe DC or Pro, I have a computer geek kind of computer. I have 32 gigabytes of RAM and a terabyte of SSD hard drive, and it takes my computer a good second per page. And you're talking about, we're downloading, 6,000-7,000 lender foreclosures in a given county, and then to OCR them would take months, I think, at a second per page. But we have a proprietary software where we can OCR an entire county's website, PDFs, lender foreclosures, and granularly give you access to yes and no and conditional formats and filters that we OCR it within a matter of a couple hours, every single part of that PDF, even if it has a picture in it. If it has a picture of a house and a bird in it, you could type in bird, and it would bring up the page of the document that has their logo with a bird on it. It OCRs every aspect of it. So I'll leave this video at the 15-minute mark. I just wanted to I never get my information out there with you guys and let you guys know what I'm doing. And I think that is something that I need to change. And, as that one famous guy once said, Gary Vaynerchuk, who are you afraid of? I'm obviously was afraid of everybody's judgments, but I'm proud of what I've done and mistakes I've made, and I just think that for the first time in my life, this information is so valuable. I had to swallow my pride and put my ego under the sweater and just say fuck it, and let you guys know what we're capable of. And maybe there's some synergies out there that are like kind and want to do good business, man. Not South Florida normal shady stuff, but genuine good business. Thanks. Appreciate it. Holler at me, guys.